Hi, I'm Chris Glover, the NDP critic for technology and innovation. Welcome to Tech Talks. So welcome to Tech Talks. Today, I'm very excited. We've got two young men who've developed an app to help people find their vaccines or the vaccine location that is closest to them. So we've got Ashish Yelakar and Zain Manji with us today. So thank you guys both very much for being here. Tell us, first of all, introduce yourselves, and then tell us about this app that you've developed. So Ashish, do you want to start?
Sure. So I'm Ashish. I work with Zain at an organization called Laser, which is a software development company. We build apps for all kinds of companies, small, big, you name it. The two of us have known each other for ages now. So we've worked on a bunch of small projects on the side, as well as played tennis together, done all kinds of things. Our most recent endeavor was building out an SMS service to help you find COVID vaccine locations.
Okay.
I'll pass over to Zain.
Awesome. Go ahead, Zain.
Yeah, so very similar to Ashish. We both work at Laser. We help a bunch of early stage startups and larger companies build mobile and web products. Ashish and I are both engineers. We love to code. We love to build. And so, randomly on a Friday, we came across this idea where we can build a tool where Canadians can text a phone number with their postal code and then instantly get the 3 closest vaccination sites near them. And, Ashish and I kind of just put our brains together for about 2 to 3 hours. And then, next thing you know, after 3 hours, we had an app up and running where, people can just text their postal code and, book their next vaccine appointment.
You had this app ready in 3 hours? Where did you get the data sets and everything? Like, how did you manage to put this together so quickly?
Yeah, so we were both from like Toronto, Ontario, well, out east in Ajax and Pickering, but so we first wanted to just do it for Ontario. And so that was like the first question is, where do we find the data? And we just, Googled COVID vaccine locations and came across the COVID Ontario website. And, lo and behold, we saw that the whole website had all of the locations that were available to people. And, it's not that, people couldn't find the location before. It's just maybe they weren't able to find that page or browse the web, or maybe they weren't comfortable with that domain. And so we just made another easy way that people can access this data in a nice way.
Nice. Okay. And so you put together this data set. You started with Ontario, and in 3 hours you had this thing. Was it up and running in 3 hours, or did it take some tweaking? Ashish?
No, it was up and running. I think we were testing it really quickly, and we launched it to a few of our friends. I think we posted a tweet and said, hey, try it out, which was meant to be a little bit of a test run, and it very quickly exploded into more than that.
Right.
But yeah, it was up and running in a few hours. We built another SMS app before, so we had a little bit of background, which gave us a bit of an edge. But yeah, that's all it took.
Nice. And so you mentioned that it's taken off since then. How popular is it?
I think our most recent number was around 130,000 Canadians at this point have used it. After launching in Ontario, we've launched in British Columbia, Alberta, and Quebec, with the rest of Canada on its way. So at this point now, I think across the 4 provinces, around 130,000 people have looked for locations with the service.
I got to say, as a local MPP, this is a really vital service. We've actually got a team because, and I know it varies from province to province, but the rollout of the vaccines has been problematic here. And people are having, there's so much confusing information that's out there all the time. People, they get a message in the media that says, hey, everybody 18 plus can register. And it's not true. It's not ready yet, and the pharmacies aren't ready. And so we're getting inundated with calls and emails. We've actually got a team of 20 volunteers helping people to register, to find these, and to do something, fair. I mean, a lot of the people that we're helping are seniors, people who are not tech savvy, but what you're doing for anybody who's got a smartphone seems just such a great thing. So you're doing this now. You've got it in 4 provinces right now?
Yep, that's right.
And when do you plan to roll out? Are you going to continue into the Maritimes?
That's the plan.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. So I think Right now we're working on Manitoba and Saskatchewan, but
Okay.
I think like when we announce it next, or like at least announce the next province or areas that are open, we want to announce them all at the same time. So right now, Saskatchewan and Manitoba are, I think, almost done. And then right after that, we'll do the rest of the provinces and territories. Yeah, so maybe hopefully we're planning by this week for sure. Everything should be out.
I got to say, this is one of the things. I'm the technology and innovation critic now. And one of the things that impresses me the most about the technology sector is just how fast things move. Like you guys, like you developed this app for Ontario in 3 hours, and now it's Monday. By Friday, you're planning on having this out, across, across the Maritimes plus the Northwest Territories and Manitoba and Saskatchewan. So that's pretty incredible what you're doing.
Yeah.
What like you mentioned that you've done some other SMS app services before. Tell me a little bit about that. Like, what kind of background did you have that allowed you to create this app?
Yeah, so I mean, so Ashish went to the University of Waterloo. He studied computer science and business. I went to the University of Toronto. I studied computer science and economics. So we have a computer science background originally. Myself personally, after school I went to work at Google and Instagram and Yelp as an engineer. And Ashish also worked as an engineer at a bunch of companies as well. And so we got that experience under our belts. And then after that, we started another company, and then we started Laser. And so we have all of this engineering and product background. And so all of this compounds over time, right? And so it makes us a little bit faster to build products like this. I mean, keep in mind, like, this product is actually not too hard to build. I think anyone with a good engineering background could build it within a few hours.
And tell me about that. So when you're designing this, did you have to create like an algorithm or a program in order to get this app? Like, if I was a young app developer and I was thinking, wow, this was a great idea, just very briefly at a fairly high level, what did you have to do to create this app?
I mean, yeah, basically all we did step by step is we got the data for Ontario, and anytime you find a data source that's reasonably well structured, and it was, you can grab that information. You can scrape it off the internet. So we did that. Luckily, it was available, and all we had to do to actually to complete it was we would find a way to send a message, which nowadays is easy. We use a telecom provider, or basically a company on top of telecoms that provides a service. So we bought a toll-free number, and we use that. There's, an API is what we call it in our terms, where you can just integrate directly with it. And we just found a way for people to text us, grab their postal code, and take the first 3 characters. And based on that, we just match it against the data we got from the Ontario site to see which locations have the same prefix or your postal code, which, is reasonably close to you. That's how the way postal codes work, right? So we looked that up. And we just matched that, and we just sent out the message. It really is that simple. Like, there isn't too much to it.
Okay, it sounds simple to you, but actually it sounds fairly complex to me. But it's wonderful, and the most amazing thing is, I mean, we're not through this pandemic until people are vaccinated. So you guys are actually accelerating the vaccination process. Thank you so much for what you're doing. It's just wonderful. And just before we go, I wanted to say one other thing. This is free for people, right? Yeah. So you guys, whatever costs you've incurred, you're just taking those. Like, this is a public service that you've done for the community.
Yeah, I mean, it's completely free for everyone out there. There's no charges. All of the costs are being paid for by Laser, our company. And then, so we're going to keep it that way, and so that everyone can get a vaccine, and we can get back to normal life pretty quickly.
Well, thank you so much for what you're doing. And you know what? I wish you guys all the best with your company. I mean, obviously, this is a great public service that you're doing right now. And I you know what? I'm sure you're going to be incredibly successful in the future as well. So thank you again on behalf of everybody in my riding and everybody, and Canadians across the country. Thank you.
No problem. Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us, Chris.
Okay. Have a wonderful one, guys.
Too.
Thank you for watching. Don't forget to follow me on social media, and we'll see you next week for more Tech Talks.